Hello there everyone, hi there beautiful, how are you doing today? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Joesephyr and in today's video we're going to be discussing what's going to be happening between now and the beginning of January from the Dissidia community stream. Lots of weirdness going on with the community stream as everything's kind of been smushed into a very short space of time and we don't really know what's going on for the second half of the month. So if you'd like to know more about what we do know and a little bit more about maybe what we don't, then stay tuned and keep on watching. Before we get started, of course, don't forget to check out all of my socials down below, including Twitch, where you can find me playing Dissidia, Final Fantasy XIV, other Final Fantasy titles, and other games in general, and it's lovely chatting to you guys, so definitely come along and pop down for that. Over on patreon.com/Joesephyr, I do give a shout out to one of my patrons who lovingly supports this channel as much as they do, and I give a shout out every time I release a video. Today that person is going to be Araman, who has been on my Patreon for quite a while now, so a massive thank you goes out to you. And they have Arden featured on their title card, who is increasingly popular as I've noticed going forward these past few months, so maybe Arden's creeping up there for a lot of people's favourites list. So thank you very much, Araman, for your support, and if you'd like more details on things you can get from being a patron for this channel, then click on the link in the description box below. And then as always, massive thank yous go out to Crystal and Joshua for presenting the information for the live stream that we've just seen over on Square Enix's Twitch, as well as all of the other content creators and resources that I ordinarily use for Dissidia, as they're all resources that are very valuable to the game and to the community as a whole. So as I said at the beginning of the video, the community live stream was a little odd in some ways, purely on the back of the fact that everything has kind of been smushed together in a 2 to 3 week period, which is very unlike Dissidia, and scheduling has always been a weird thing with Dissidia, but never quite like this. And I imagine that it's setting up for a big surprise or something to do with anniversary, but it feels very gambly heavy because we know that we're getting an in-game notice on the 10th of January to tell us everything that's coming out between the 10th and the next live stream at the end of January, which is the start of C90 era and or maybe something global exclusive, we don't quite know. But I'll get to that at the end. For now, let's talk about the things we do know about. So on December 21st, tomorrow for me, tonight for if you're in the US, we're going to get the next story chapter, which will feature Jagran, Kuja, and then 8, which luckily I've already made a video out of previously, or earlier today in fact, because I didn't think it was going to come out quite this quickly. And if for any details you want to learn about Jagran, Kuja, and 8 and the event that comes with them, you can check that video out. But we do also get a token challenge along with it, some extra resources. We get free multi-draws on this, and honestly, if I got a free Jagran, I wouldn't sniff at it, even if I wouldn't use him all that much. But hey, free is free. We appreciate free. And we're also getting the Ifrit, player missions ready for when Divine Ifrit comes out, presumably next month, at some point, not quite sure when. And then obviously we get little extra bits and pieces to do with summon boards so that people who need to catch up on them can. And that's always nice for the players who are still catching up. So in further keeping with free pulls and pushing everything all together, on Christmas Eve, so December 24th, we're going to be getting the Glittering City of Gold event, which is going to contain Saz's rework and his LD. So if you've seen characters like Gold Bears who have abilities that you gain more bravery than damage you deal, Saz is now the supporting role version of that, where he extends that to the whole party. So it's a nice thing to have. It's still featuring Jagran BT though, so whether people want to pull on that when they're not really that keen on Jagran, well, we'll have to wait and see. And then on December 28th, so only a few days after Christmas, we're getting the next part of the story chapter, which will contain Fran's LD. Now, Fran's LD will basically make it so that her Viera's Punishment debuff, which already had 5 stacks on it and at max stacks made it so you had ranged imperil, can go up to a maximum of 10 stacks instead, and you end up with Brave damage up, HP damage up, Brave gains down, and like a massive wallop on top of all of those stats when you get to 10 stacks. And this actually makes for an extremely powerful cool ability. Even if you don't necessarily use Fran on her own, this is probably the next kind of big cool ability that everybody kind of wants. Saz LD cool is actually very nice as well though, so lots of nice little extras here, there and everywhere when it comes to Jagran's batch. On New Year's Eve, we're actually getting a lot. So on the New Year Festival, which is the first thing we're getting, we get free multi-draws on all of the batch for the next BT character, which is Machina, and they really can't hide these things. Like, they have the literal costume on display, and they go, well, on the next BT batch, it's Machina. We're just going to go with that now. And then we get gems, tickets, logins, and we've also been told about the fact that the tickets that we didn't get a couple of months ago from that event where we were expected to get a lot of them, we're going to get a lot of them from this raid that we're getting on New Year's Eve to make up for the ones we didn't get then. And we get a daily free multi-draw on a special banner that features every EX and LD that has been released up until December 28th. So if you're missing loads of them, then this is going to be great for you. Even if you're missing a few, I mean, it's nice to have kind of that little bit of hope that you might get something you didn't have before. It's all fun stuff. And there's actually also another weapon skin in the Weapon Gloss shop. So if you fancy having something like that with the New Year's Hagita, then maybe that will appeal to you as well. But as I said, as well as that, we're getting the raid event for Savage Wins the Elverett raid, where we will see Shantotto get her BT Plus and Machina get his, as well as this apparently spoiler-tastic costume. I haven't played Type 0 far enough to know what this is a spoiler for, nor do I want to, but we'll figure that out as we go. It's a badass costume nevertheless. And Machina does damage, and a lot of it. Like, his HP plus that he gets off of his BT is absolutely catastrophic, and the things he does with it, like million damage plus we're talking, it's heavy duty stuff. When I said we're during Dragon's video, like, if you're going to be the last C80 before C90 era turns up, you better hope that you're doing a lot to make up for it. Machina definitely does that. Shantotto, not so much. We're also going to get Pain LD with this banner, and Pain LD is unique, to say the least, because she does different things depending on where she's positioned in your party. So if she's on the left, I believe, you get buffs to your party. If she's on the right, you get debuffs to the enemy. That's a whole other kettle of fish that I'm going to need to go into further depth about when we talk about Pain later on. Last two slides that we have here, again on New Year's Eve, we get a retweet campaign, which is going to give us sort of tickets, all the general stuff, nothing special, no Ultima ingots like we got before, anything like that. It's just fairly generic. And then we get Snow and Ursula come around as part of Machina's batch. Snow, most people will probably pull for Snow to save themselves having to get his LD for when his BT comes about, but he is still a very solid tank with his LD, and he has a lot of HP regeneration. He's actually still very good then. Ursula is a really odd character as well, but basically with these two, especially considering how close they are together and presumably how close we're going to get C90 come straight after it, I would probably save my resources at this point purely on the fact that we don't know what's around the corner, and presumably with it being anniversary, you'd hope it was something fairly big. Now, I'm of the impression that the reason that all of these banners have been smushed together, we still haven't heard anything about when Vanille's coming about. I think people are going to kind of forget about Vanille at this point, is that they've rushed themselves into a place where C90 and anniversary kind of coincide. But we've been told, like I said at the beginning of the video, on January 10th, because the last event here is on January 6th, that we're going to get an in-game notice for stuff that's going to be happening between January 10th and January 30th, which seems very bizarre considering that up until now all of our news has been given by the community streams. So who knows what's going on with that? If there's a global exclusive, I'm surprised there's no hype given for that through the stream. If C90 era is coming about at that point, which is when it's like estimated to come out, like going by JP's schedule, then you'd think that that would get some hype related to it. I can only assume that perhaps the Q&A that they're having with the producer might have something to do with it. Maybe they're waiting until sort of the middle of January, maybe they'll post a video or stream with that in it, and they'll announce stuff through that. I honestly don't know what to expect at this point, but with the scheduling and Dissidia being quite as sporadic and weird as it is, I am actually planning on changing my own content to kind of suit this going forward in 2022, because there have been many, many times, including today, where I've had to scramble to get all of the information as quickly as possible in order to post sort of like 3 videos all at once and make sure that everything's ready for you guys so you have like notice of when stuff is coming. Because trust me, when it comes to stuff like this, I get just as much notice as everybody else, so I have to scramble a lot. But hopefully going forward into the new year, into January, there'll be some new methods that I will employ in order to give some consistency to at least my own content, even if Dissidia has not got it. So that's going to be all from today's video. Again, thank you to Joshua and Crystal for posting all of the information we have here. Let me know in the comments below what you think is going on with Dissidia. There must be some setup here for some sort of surprise. I hope it's worth the payoff, and it's going to be interesting to see where the game's going to go from here with regards to speeding up where like our accelerated scheduling, or whether we're going to slow down after this point and go back to sort of once a week or twice a week. I don't know what's going to happen with it, but let me know what you guys think. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and click the bell for notification of future videos I might be making. And that's going to be it from me, so a big thank you, and I shall see you next time. Take care.